Welcome to the Deaf Kid Show. Let's go.
Hey, yo! Hey. Here he comes. Y'all ready? I don't think y'all ready. Jeff Key coming at you, the over-circumcised Jew. Travel the world telling jokes, eating eggs with no fucking yolks. Low-cal, SoCal, he pulls out the knife and he strips your gal. This is his podcast, maybe this one will last. Probably not the one that he's got. He's only half minus success. That's why he brought in D to the M to the X. He's finally about to blow. Welcome to the Jeff Key Show.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Yeah, just drank a bottle of Yellowtail Cabernet. Gonna throw down a podcast because I have the time, because I flew to Seattle and then I was supposed to go to Calgary, and then we flew to Calgary and then the pilot said, fuck that, we're not gonna land, let's take you back to Seattle. And now, long story short, I'm stuck in Seattle. But before we get to that, I got a couple things I want to talk about on the podcast. First of all, thank you guys so much for rating it 5 stars. I appreciate that. If you haven't yet, please just go on iTunes, or is that where it is? Apple Podcasts? I don't even know. I'm so bad at this. And just click 5 stars. It's so easy. You don't have to leave a review. If you want to leave a review, that's great. And appreciate it. But just so fast, just do that. If you want to email me, it's the jeffkeithshow@gmail.com. So, couple of funny things, and then I'm going to get to why I'm stuck in Seattle. Why I'm stuck in Seattle, but also why it's not the end of the world, you know? I've got to keep it in perspective. Got to note how you feel. You know something else I listened? I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little indoor wine. Something I noticed. Listen to me on 1.5 speed. When I listen back at my podcast sometimes to see how do I sound? 1.5 speed, I sound better. I talk slow. I'm a slow talker. I have a low heart rate. A lot of people don't know this. When I was in high school, I have a heart condition, so my heartbeat is slower than normal. And I know athletes' hearts are slower. And I used to be pretty athletic when I was younger, but I'm not some super athlete. I'm not LeBron James or something, but I'm not Usain Bolt. But when I was in high school, I had an irregular heartbeat to the point where they hooked me up to an EKG when I was awake, and my heartbeat was 32 beats per minute. The American record, I was told at the time, was some high school wrestler in the 70s, was 27 beats per minute. So pretty slow heart rate. So I think I'm too chill sometimes. I remember when I used to go out for hosting stuff on TV, they'd always be like, can you pick up the energy a little bit? And I'm like, yeah, I got you. And I was always a little bit too chill. So I think a good call is listening to me on 1.5 speed. I think I sound better that way. All right, let's get into a couple of fun things, and then I'm going to start whining like a bitch. Just so you guys know, I'm going to whine like a little baby. I don't know. So here's something I jotted down. I think that was pretty funny. My son's first birthday. My son turns 1 on January 31st, and so we're having a big birthday party for him on January 26th. And my wife, if anyone, I'm sure none of you know my wife, but my wife is awesome. But her and her mom, they love to go all out for parties. They love to have themes. They're really good about making their own decorations, and it looks great. And people are always like, did you guys hire someone to make all these decorations for your party? I'm like, no, just my wife and her family. So anyways, the theme for my son's first birthday is dinosaurs. So my wife, Christy, my angel, hi babe, she's not listening to this. I don't think she's listened to one yet. You're the best. I love you so much. Is she there? She's not. Hello, Christy, are you there? She's not. So she has been buying toy dinosaurs from people online. And so one guy, it is just so funny, such a first world problem. She tells me the other day, hey, so that package I just got, there's supposed to be 15 to 16 dinosaurs in there, but I think she got 12 or something. And she's like, what should I do? And I'm like, fucking tell that person, give me my other dinosaurs. Isn't that the most first world problem ever? Where the fuck are my dinosaurs at? I paid for a certain amount of toy dinosaurs, and I'm only getting a shitload of them, but I'm not getting a fucking shitload of them. I ordered a fucking shitload. Where's all my dinosaurs? So Christy, I told her, I'm like, yeah, tell that guy, like, hey, this your ad said this, and that's what I ordered, and whatever. I don't know. I don't even know. She's ordering on some app or something. So she did, and then the guy wrote back something like, oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I just actually, I see the dinosaurs, the extra dinosaurs right here. He made up some weird fucking story about where he found the extra, like, 4 to 5 dinosaurs. And then he makes it a point to tell my wife, yeah, I'm going to send him back. I'm not making any money on this deal, but I just wanted you to be happy. I put that in quotes because that's what she told me. Just wanted you to be happy. It's like, dude, go fucking make something of yourself, bro. You know what I mean? Like, was this guy going to buy a new house with the, kids' old dinosaurs toy sale? Was he like, oh, I'm going to sell my kids' old toy dinosaurs, and then we'll have fucking $8 million, and we'll go buy that Malibu beach house. Like, what is this guy's deal? Get a fucking life, bro. I'm not gonna make anything on this deal. On this deal of what? You sent fucking 4. You're supposed to send 16 dinosaurs. You sent 12. And my wife is like, where are the other 4? And you're like, oh, okay. I guess I'll pay for the shipping on that too. Yeah, dude, you'll fucking pay for the shipping on that too. You didn't send what the fuck you said you were going to send. What you said you're going to send. So this kind of actually ties into what I'm going to whine about later. But I thought that was funny. I love people who, and when I say I love, I'm being sarcastic. The type of people who kind of, I know I'm going to use like strong language, but they wrong somebody else. Not saying this guy's the worst guy in the world for doing this to my wife with the dinosaur sale, but someone who like messes up, they messed up, you didn't mess up, you're just trying to, do everything right, and then they make you feel bad about their mistake. You know what I mean? Like, here's a more exaggerated example. I had a buddy once, Chris Barrett, look him up. Fucking sack of shit. This guy played football at USC. He's supposed to play in the NFL. He would have played in the NFL if he didn't keep getting hurt. I was close buddies with this guy for a few years. And at one point, this guy I'm saying that wrong. My mom lent him money. He said he needed money. I was hanging out with this guy all the time. He was coming to all my shows at the time. We were buddies. You know what I mean? Like, he was going through a breakup. I was there for him, and like he was there for me. Like, I think he was, but I don't know. When I was going through shit with my ex. Anyways, Chris Barrett, dude, this guy supposed to be my buddy, and my mom lent him money, and my mom totally cool was like, hey, if you ever have, like they wrote up a whole little deal, like, oh, pay me back this. And he's like, oh, I could easily pay you back $500 a month or whatever it was. And my mom was like, yeah, it's kind of a lot, if you can only pay me back like 200 or 300 or 150, like, or whatever, just let me know. She's like, as long as you're paying me, as long as I know, like, you're paying me, not a big deal, right? And he was like, oh yeah, totally. No, and my mom told him, she said, hey, look, Chris, just don't like, basically, she didn't say this because she didn't know the terminology, but she's like, don't go ghost on me. Like, don't basically just stop responding to me. And at the time, I don't think ghosting was a term. So he was like, oh yeah, of course. What happened? First month, he borrowed money from his sister to pay my mom back. Second month, he asked me if he could borrow money from me to pay my mom back, which is like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? You're going to borrow money from the same family to pay the same family back? Like, I don't think so. Not like my mom and I have a joint bank account, but what kind of fucking weird logic does that make? My point is, he ended up fucking acting like me and my mom were the dicks. You know what I mean? Like, I ended up, like, this guy we were buddies, right? Like, we would hang out, we would text all day, whatever, like, we were close. And then all of a sudden, he just stopped texting me back, of course, was ignoring my mom. And I was like, yo, dude, like, what's going on with you and my mom? Like, I was touring a lot this time, and I was just like, hey, man, like, my mom's like, just like, hey, what's up with Chris? Like, you won't even get back to me. And I'm like, yo, dude, can you just get back to my mom? Like, she doesn't care if you can't pay her the full amount. You can just pay her some of it. And he just would ghost me. And I'm like, all of a sudden, this guy who would get back to, like, we talked all day, every day, all of a sudden wouldn't get back to me. And then he was just like, yo, man, I'm like really busy right now, okay? Like, you don't understand. And it's all about like, oh, you don't understand what I'm going through. So my point is, people suck, dude, and they just want to be like, oh, you don't get what I'm going through. What I'm going through means more than anything. It's like, oh, I'm fucking your mom over, who was super nice to lend me money so I could get this apartment, and I really needed the money and no one else would lend it to me. Well, I'm going to just fucking not even be respectful and respond to your mom, even though I owe her money, even though she's the coolest person ever, and she's not fucking even trying to like demand all the money. She just wants me to stay in contact with her, but I'm going to pretend your mom's a bitch. It's like, so anyways, people stink. I think you guys get it. All right. Moving on. That guy sucks. Fucking whatever. He reached out to me years later. He's like, yo, dude, just want to say, well, happy for all your success, bro. Oh, are you, dude? Fucking suck a dick. I don't fucking like you. All right. So, my other podcast, the ENG podcast, with my buddy Ian, which is a lot of fun. We've had a lot of success with it. If you guys don't listen to that, it's pretty fun. We mostly, it kind of got big. We watched The Bachelor and we talk about The Bachelor. But we also talk about a bunch of other stuff, and it's a lot of fun. It's better than me just rambling. You know what I mean? I mean, this is different, but I'm gonna start to have guests on this show and everything. I have a lot of fun stuff coming down the pike. I want you guys to know about. Got my buddy Thomas, who's down to come on as a comedian. He's also bigender, which is like transgender, sort of. He's kind of explained it to me. Anyways, I think that'll be a very interesting conversation. I have all sorts of I have a very eclectic group of friends, you know what I mean, from what I do. So I want to bring all these people on. I'm going to bring on people who aren't even comedians or actors, like people I just think are interesting. Because I think people are interesting. And I think when we take a step back and get out of our own fucking world, I think it's fun to listen to what other people's lives are like, because we're all constantly consumed with our own world. So anyways, my point is, my buddy and I, we do this podcast, and a lot of it is about The Bachelor. So I was catching up on The Bachelor because I'm stuck in Seattle. I'll get to that in a second. I'm stuck in Seattle tonight. So I'm in this hotel room, and I was like, man, I need to finish watching the episode from last night. So tomorrow when I'm in Calgary, hopefully if I make it, Ian and I can throw down our podcast, the ENG podcast, and we can talk about The Bachelor, right? Because that's something we're covering right now. So this is the only thing I'm going to say, because obviously I'm going to talk about The Bachelor on that other podcast with my buddy. The rose ceremony, if you guys don't know, The Bachelor, Bachelorette, there's a rose ceremony like, oh, you get a rose, you get to stay, right? And if you don't get a rose, you got to go home. Okay. So it's a big dramatic, quote, dramatic thing. And one thing I noticed watching the rose ceremony tonight, they always show a couple, this is The Bachelor, so there's women who are getting the roses. They'll show a couple women who are just like rolling their eyes every time someone gets a rose that they don't get, and moving their head, and their heads going all over the place, and they're all this body language, all this like very obvious I'm pissed off body language. And I'm watching that, and I feel like most people watch that going like, oh, why can't they just keep it together? They look like such idiots, right? I would totally be the person that could not keep their emotions together. My dad's like that. I'm like that. I wear my emotions. Even if I was trying to keep my emotions intact, you could still see it on my face. I would just be like super still, and you could tell this guy's pissed off. So that's my one little nugget, little teaser for the ENG podcast, if anybody listens to this and the ENG podcast. But yeah, I would definitely be pissed off if some jack-off was getting a rose instead of me, and I know that guy sucks, and it's like, that guy's fake, and I'm not fake. Like, I would be like rolling my eyes and flipping my hands in the air and pissed off about it. So, okay. All right, this is why I am stuck in Seattle. I don't care if this podcast is 20 minutes long or an hour and 20 minutes long. So I flew to Seattle from Southern California, and then I was supposed to jump on a plane from there to Calgary, and then I was supposed to do a show in Calgary tonight at the Comedy Cave. I'll be at the Comedy Cave all week. It's supposed to be the 15th through the 20th. Now apparently it's going to be the 16th through the 20th because I didn't make it to Calgary tonight. So not only is my show canceled in Calgary, and I'm sure I'm getting docked pay because why would I get paid for a show I didn't do? This is what pisses me off. I'm flying Alaska Airlines. I barely ever fly Alaska Airlines. You know why? Fuck Alaska Airlines. I fucking hate Alaska Airlines. They stink. And I hate them more now. All right? So here's what happened. We get on the plane in Seattle. We're flying to Calgary. We're sitting on the tarmac, and the pilot gets on the thing. We're not moving. We're not going out. We're not flying yet. And he goes, hey, guys, yeah, we're gonna, maybe push off here in a second, but it's taking a while because we don't know if we have like the right equipment basically to land in Calgary. There's a lot of like weather issues there. He's like, we might need to switch planes. All right. He says we might need to switch planes. Guess what, everybody? If they told me and everybody else on the plane, like, hey, you guys down to switch planes so we can fucking get to Calgary? Everybody would have raised their hand and been like, yeah, I'm down to fucking switch planes. I just want to get to Calgary. I need to get there to either be in Calgary because that's where I live, or that's where I'm going, or that's where my next flight is to go to somewhere else, like this chick next to me who's going to Liberia. Anyways, so the pilot eventually, after sitting on the fucking tarmac for 45 minutes, goes, yeah, we're going to take off. Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. No worries, right? All right, cool. No worries. So we're good to go, right? So there's no worries. He's like, yeah, weather's fine. We'll be able to land in Calgary. Great. So we take off. We fly to Calgary. Then the pilot gets on the thing hour and a half later, hour later maybe, and he goes, hey, guys, we're right over Calgary. A lot of fog going on in Calgary. So, yeah. I don't know. Like, are we going to land in Calgary? Maybe we'll check. We'll see. We're going to hover. We're going to hover over Calgary for a while, see if we have the fuel to hover over it, and then maybe the weather will clear and we can land. And the whole time I'm like, if we're either going to land and I'm going to get picked up and go straight to my show, or we're not going to land, I'm fucked, right? So, long story short, what happens? Guys, we're going to have to go back to Seattle. We're going to fly you back to Seattle. So we flew back to Seattle after sitting on the tarmac an extra 45, 50 minutes. Then we flew to Calgary. Then we're over Calgary. Then the pilot says, after saying we could land in Calgary, we can't land in Calgary. He takes us back all the way to Seattle. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys, whoever's listening. I meditate. It helps me. I stay like more centered. Big picture has been my thing for like years. I've also got a tattoo that says the big picture because I'm all about like moments like that. Just being like, hey, what's the big picture? Is your life great? It's fine. Don't get all fucking hung up on this shitty day or this shitty moment, right? So I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, hey, you know what? Even if I missed the show, it is what it is. Shit happens. If life was perfect, then life would be perfect, and then you wouldn't even know the ups and downs. You gotta have the downs, you gotta have the ups, right? And this isn't even that big of a down. So I was like, whatever. So he takes us back to Seattle. I get in line for, everybody's in line now at Alaska Airlines trying to figure out, what's going on. I hear this guy, right? Business guy. I love business guys, you know what I mean? Because I'm not them at all, but I love them. This business guy, I hear him talking to one of the Alaska people going, hey, and he's just reiterating stuff that I heard. So it's like reminding me, because I honestly did not remember. He goes, I get that, like, weather and everything is an issue, but, planes can land in fog. And he goes, and my boss was on a Delta flight, landed like almost exact same time we were supposed to land. So if our flight took off on time, we would have landed. We would have been fine. And he's like, and he's giving all these examples of the shit. And this is the thing too. I know this personally because I fly a lot. If an airline, I'm sure some of you know this, I'm sure some of you don't know this. If you are delayed or you have to come back or anything, like anything is fucked up with your flight, if it's because of a maintenance issue or because of any issue, the airline is technically like responsible, and they have to put you up for the night, and they have to like be like, oh, we're sorry, like here's some vouchers. If it's weather, if it's quote unquote weather, then technically they're like, oh, it's fucking in God's hands. You know what I mean? We can't control the weather. What are we? We're just an airline. We can't control the weather, right? So what airlines do is they lie. And they say it's the weather, even if it's not the weather. And like the fact that other planes were landing in Calgary the same time that we were being told we couldn't land in Calgary because of the weather. Well, obviously we couldn't land in Calgary because of something other than the weather, because other planes were landing in Calgary and they're in the fucking same weather, right? So they're basically lying to us, saying it was the weather so they can get out of shit. So by the time I got up to the front, I was like, hey, and I always feel bad because like the gate agent or the customer service agent, they didn't have anything to do with anything. They just have to deal with all these angry people. So I felt bad. So I'm always like super calm and some dude. And I said, hey, I go, I was actually supposed to work in Calgary tonight. I'm out that money. I'm going to not get paid that money now. And so just like, what are you guys gonna do? And she's like, oh well, I'm sure we can like put you up for the night and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. And then the lady next to her goes, no, it's weather, so like we're not putting anyone up. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, like we're not putting you up. I go, what do you mean? Like, not only am I out what I was supposed to get paid tonight, but also you're not even gonna like pay for like lodging. Like usually they like put you up, even if it's a shitty place, the airline will put you up somewhere, right? Because they didn't fly you where they told you they were gonna go fly you. So they didn't put me up, and I was like, so I have to pay for my own hotel? And they're just like, yeah. And then I was like, okay. I talked to the supervisor. The supervisor was like, all I can do is give you like $12 for food. $12 for food? I was like, okay. And so they put me on this is the thing this is where it gets real crazy, real weird. They put me on a Delta flight. So this is Alaska Airlines. They put me on a Delta flight the next morning. Okay, so tomorrow I'm supposed to fly out 9:45 a.m. on Delta. So I go, where do I pick up my bag? And they're like, oh, do you need your bag? And I'm like, yeah, I need my bag because it's got all my stuff in it. This is the thing, guys. I don't usually check a bag. A long time ago, Pablo Francisco, when I was opening for him, was like, comics don't check bags. So I barely ever check a bag. But I'm supposed to be in Calgary. I was supposed to be in there tonight, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because I'm doing a private event on Monday. And then I come home Tuesday. So like a full 7 days. So I was like, fuck it. I'll just pay to check my bag. I never check my bag. I barely ever check my bag, right? So I pay to check my bag. So they go to Delta after this and make sure you get like your seat and everything. And then go to baggage claim, get your bag. So I walk all the way to Delta. There's a different terminal. Talk to this lady. She was like, oh, they didn't even give you a ticket. So I had to deal with that. So Alaska fucked that up. They said they gave me a ticket. They didn't give me a ticket. So I got a ticket at Delta. It took a while. Then I go down to baggage claim. I find my bag. My bag is broken, guys. They broke my fucking bag. My bag, by the way, it's not the best suitcase in the world. It was a nice suitcase. It's Tommy Bahama. I got it for my wedding. It was a gift from a family friend, the Eisens. They got me and my wife this luggage that we wanted. It was on like our, what do you call that thing? The registry. And anyways, my point is, it's a nice bag. It's not the nicest bag you could ever have, but it's a big, nice bag, right? Broken. My bag wasn't even sort of fucked up. That's the thing. It wasn't like, oh, I had a little thing and it got worse. They fucked up my bag, right? My bag is broken. My shit is fucking like falling out of it. And I was like, are you serious? So I was like keeping it cool, guys. I'm going to be honest. I was keeping it pretty cool. I'm like, hey, this happens. No big deal. Whatever. It's not the end of the world. And once I saw my broken bag, I was like, fuck this, dude. Like, I don't care how much meditation. I was not having it. So I fucking go up to these two ladies and I said, excuse me, my bag is broken. I go, first you guys fly me to Calgary, let me hover over where I'm supposed to be, then you fly me back, you say it's the weather, it's obviously not the weather because other planes are landing there. I go, then you don't pay for my hotel room tonight because you're saying it's the weather even though we all know it's not the weather, and now my bag is broken. And they were like, they didn't even say sorry, they just go, oh, well, we can either give you, they go, we can give you another bag. And I go, you're going to give me this bag? Because in my head, I'm like, yeah, if you'll replace this bag, fine. That's very good. That's very good customer service. I have this Tommy Bahama bag. It's from the Mojito collection. I know I sound like a total douche right now, but I have this Tommy Bahama bag from the Mojito collection. It's the big one. If you'll give me that bag, yeah, fucking let's do it. And I'm like, oh, you'll give me this bag? And she's like, oh, not that bag, but just like a bag that's the same size. I'm like, what's the quality of that bag going to be? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I doubt it's going to be as good a quality, right? And again, guys, my bag is not the top of the line, best piece of luggage ever to exist, but it's better than shitty luggage. It's better than like that luggage you see at fucking TJ Maxx or Marshall's thrown all over the floor with fucking women's size triple F bras. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, no, if you're not going to replace this bag, I'm not going to get another bag. I go, what am I supposed to do anyways? I'm supposed to carry around two big-ass pieces of luggage? And they're like, oh, no, we would need this bag. I'm like, so I give you my fucking bag, and you give me a shitty bag? That's a horrible deal. Like, that is such a bad deal. I think I'd probably better just, like, pay money to, like, fix the fucking bag that you broke. And she goes, or we can give you 4,000 miles on our airline. 4,000 miles? I know it might sound like a lot if you don't fly a lot, but if you do fly a lot, you realize that's nothing. 4,000 miles on Alaska? Go fuck yourself. So then she goes, or we can give you $125 in Alaska credit. And I'm like, I don't fly Alaska very often. Like, you guys are rarely the airline I need to fly. And I go, I don't fly very often. I go, if it's lifetime, like if I have that $125 to use whenever it happens to come up. She's like, but I knew it wasn't. The reason I asked because I know it's only a year. She goes, no, it's only for a year. I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to use it because I don't fly you guys because you guys suck. And then she was like, I didn't say because you guys suck. I wasn't being that rude. And then, so basically she was like, well, there's nothing we can do for you then. Like, she was like, she didn't give a fuck. This lady didn't give one fuck. Then I walk away, and I hear this fucking other lady I was talking to with her laughing. Turn around, see them laughing at me. Guys, I did not like that at all. I walk back. I say, excuse me, miss, what's your name? To the other lady. She goes, oh, my name's Micah. I said, okay, Micah, you about to fucking lose your job, bitch. Don't fucking laugh at me after you guys fuck up my bag, make me pay for my own hotel, fly me to Calgary just to hover over the shit, and then fly back. That's not cool, right? So here's my thing. Customer service isn't open 24/7, so what I have to do is wait till tomorrow to call. I called already, and they were like, oh, we don't deal with this. I called the 24-hour line. They're like, you got to talk to customer service. So I have to wait to talk to customer service. Customer service, I'm going to tell them this. I paid to check that bag. Let me know what you think. Email me. It's in the show notes, thejeffkeithshow@gmail.com. I paid $30 to check that bag. Shouldn't they reimburse me for that $30, right? Also, I don't know if I mentioned this yet because I've been a little buzzed off the Cabernet Yellowtail that I got from 7-Eleven. But they're not paying for my check. I don't think I mentioned this yet. They're not paying for my check bag on Delta. They rebooked me on a Delta flight, and Delta is going to be like, oh, you want to check a bag? You have to pay. So I have to pay again. I have to pay again the same fee I paid on fucking Alaska to check my bag that they broke. I have to pay that fee again for fucking Delta to fly my bag. I paid that fee from LA to all the way to Calgary. Now I have to pay it from fucking Seattle to Calgary on a different airline because Delta's like, yeah, we didn't fucking get your fee. So I told them at the airport, I go, you guys gonna pay that? They're like, oh, we don't know anything about that. So it's like, what? So I'm gonna pay $60 now to fucking get my bag broken to be flown to Calgary when I should have gotten not broken and to Calgary for $30. So that's where I'm at, guys. I got tomorrow. I have to call them and try and get all that shit. I don't think they're going to reimburse me for this hotel. I don't think they give a shit. I think Alaska Airlines sucks ass. You know what I mean? I think if there was like a bunch of asses in front of them and Alaska Airlines was a mouth with lips, they just start sucking all the asses because Alaska Airlines sucks ass. I can't stand them, man. It's a bad airline. Like, people shit on Southwest, and I barely ever fly Southwest anymore. Southwest takes care of you. If they fuck up, or even if they don't fuck up, if you fuck up, if you're like, hey, I shouldn't have booked this flight. I don't know why I booked this. They're like, you know what? You get all the money you paid for every single cent you paid for that flight. If your flight costs $168, they're like, you have $168 now in Southwest bucks, and you can put them towards a future flight. And they don't charge you a change fee. Like, Southwest takes care of you. Southwest has 2 bags fly free, which I'd never check 2 bags, but it's good to know that you could check 1 bag. It's like, how is Southwest kicking Alaska's ass? Alaska sucks. So if you like Alaska Airlines, I don't know what your problem is, but you have not flown another airline. Alaska Airlines sucks ass. Their customer service is garbage. So anyways, man, I feel like people in this shitty hotel I'm at can hear me. I don't know what's going on. All right. So that's what's going on with that. And the last thing, this is why it's not getting to me. This is why, even though it's annoying and everything, it's not getting to me. My baby boy, my little son, Levi Solomon Keith. I told this dude when I left today, when I kissed him goodbye, I said, Levi, I'll be back in a week. Don't walk until I'm back. Okay? My son's 11 months old. He's going to be a year old on January 31st. And I said, Levi, I could tell you're close. Just wait for me to get back. What did this guy do? He walked today. My son walked today. Probably my last child ever, unless some My doctor messed up my vasectomy. My last child ever walked today, and I missed it, but I couldn't be prouder of my little man. He's been standing for so long by himself and just staring at me and staring at my wife and staring at my daughter, and I knew he could do it, and he did it. And he's grounded. Fuck, what the fuck, man? I told him, I go, dude, don't walk until I get back. I literally said to him, I kissed him goodbye. I said, Levi, I know you're close. Don't walk until I get back. Just wait for me to take your steps. And then he walks today. He didn't even wait like a couple of days. I'm going to be gone all week. This guy couldn't wait 3 days and then walk in the middle of the week. And it's like, oh, well, I walked on Friday. You know what I mean? No, he walked today. So overall, big picture, my life is fine. Another thing I'll say real quick, too. First off, I love my son. Levi, the best. But The Bachelor, if you guys don't listen to the ENG podcast, I do with my buddy Ian. Listen to that. We have a lot of fun over there. And please take literally 10, 15 seconds and just rate this podcast 5 stars. I'm going to start having a lot of cool guests. I'm trying to just build content right now and everything. And then I'm going to start having a lot of cool guests on. I've already started to line them up. Hopefully this week while I'm in Canada, I can get a lot done. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, The Bachelor. One thing I like about this Bachelor, so far the season is very boring. Very, very boring. But this guy, Colton, is very into cystic fibrosis. That's his, like, a charity that he works with. And cystic fibrosis, anyone who knows me, has been very close to me since I've been alive. Very near and dear to my heart. I have a close family friend with CF. I've known a lot of people with CF. And it's if you don't know what cystic fibrosis is, which a lot of people don't, it's a shitty disease. And just to give you an example, my friend, when she was born, her life expectancy, I think, was 18 years old. And now I believe she's about 30. And my point is they keep making, they're making strides. They're finding cures. They found a cure for like 5 to 10% of the cases. They did not find a cure for the type of CF that my friend has. And I'm not going to ask for anything yet as far as donations to this podcast because I want to start really getting in the groove and putting out a lot of content so it's worth your time and getting a lot of interviews going and bringing a lot of different people to the podcast. And right now it's just me messing around, talking. But eventually when I do, I'm going to give 20% of all donations to CF because I give to them every year, and this is a way for me to give as much as possible. So at some point, I'll put that in the show notes or whatever, like where you can donate, but not yet. I really want to prove to you guys I'm going to put out a bunch of content, and I'm going to be consistent and bring you guys good stuff. So anyways, I'm going to find another motivational speech to put at the end of this because, honestly, I put that Denzel one at the last podcast. And, like, I don't know if you guys have ever done anything like this, but when you're just sitting here talking to a mic, I mean, I talk in front of audiences all the time, and I could tell if they like it or not because they're laughing and they're clapping or they're not. So I could tell. But it's really cool. People actually hit me up on social media if you want. Social media, Twitter, Instagram is at Jeff Keith, GEOFFKEITH. That's GEOFFKEITH. And I had people hit me up and they were like, hey, thank you so much for putting that Denzel motivational speech Denzel thing in your last podcast. I really needed it that day. And that's the reason I did it, because some of you guys might be like rolling your eyes like, oh, okay, whatever, some motivational shit. I don't need this. But that stuff puts you in a good mood, man. You know what I mean? It helps you think about what you're doing, and it puts you in a good mood. And I've never, ever listened to any of those, and there's a lot of them, and felt worse. I've always felt better. So it meant a lot to me just from the couple people I heard from that said, like, oh, that was really cool to put that in. So I'm going to put in another one right now. And thank you guys for listening. Check out the show notes. Email me, thejeffkeithshow@gmail.com. And social media at Jeff Keith. All right, guys, I'm in Calgary, hopefully the rest of this week. So if you're in Calgary, if you're in Canada, if you know anyone, let them know. I'm at the Comedy Cave the 16th through the 20th now. The 16th through the 20th. The 15th was tonight, and it didn't happen. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it. Please rate the podcast 5 stars. How many times did I say that? Too many? Probably too many. All right, here comes the motivational speech.
I went to college. I went and worked out 5 hours a day. And I was working on construction. Because in those days in bodybuilding, there was no money. I didn't have the money for food supplements or anything. So I had to go to work. So I worked on construction. I went to college. I worked out in the gym. And at night, from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight, I went to acting class 4 times a week. So I did all of that. There was not one single minute that I wasted. And this is why I'm standing here today. With the age of 20, I went to London and I won the Mr. Universe contest as the youngest Mr. Universe ever. And it was because I had a goal. You see, if you don't have a vision of where you go, and if you don't have a goal where you go, you drift around and you never end up anywhere. 74% hate their job in America. The majority of people don't like what they're doing because they're really not doing it because they didn't have a goal and they followed this goal. They just aimlessly drift around, and then all of a sudden there's a job opening, so they get that job because you have to work. But then when you work, it's a chore. It's work. It's not fun. So if you think about, only a quarter of the people really enjoy what they're doing in life. So people always ask me, when they saw me in the gym in the pumping iron days, they say, why is it that you're working out so hard? 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and you have always a smile on your face. The others are working out just as hard as you do, and they look sour in the face. Why is that? And I told people all the time, I said, because to me, I'm shooting for a goal. In front of me is the Mr. Universe title. So every rep that I do gets me closer to accomplishing that goal, to make this goal, this vision, turn into reality. Every single set that I do, every repetition, every weight that I lift will get me a step closer to turn this goal into reality. So I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound squat. I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound bench press. I couldn't wait to do another 2,000 reps of sit-ups. I couldn't wait for the next exercise. So let me tell you something, visualizing your goal and going after it makes it fun. You got to have a purpose no matter what you do in life. You got to have a purpose. And Muhammad Ali worked his butt off. And I saw it firsthand. And I remember that there was a sports writer that was there in the gym when he was working out and he was doing sit-ups. And they asked him, how many sit-ups do you do? And he said, I don't start counting until it hurts. Now think about that. He doesn't start counting his sit-ups until he feels pain. That's when he starts counting. That is working hard. And so you can't get around the hard work. It doesn't matter who it is. Work your ass off. There is no magic pill. There is no magic out there. You cannot get around. You have to work and work and work. Make sure of this and make sure of that and all that stuff. So it's work. And it drives me crazy when people say that they don't have enough time to go to the gym for 45 minutes a day and work out. Or to do something for 45 minutes to an hour a day to improve. If it is physically improve or if it is mentally to improve. Imagine you read 1 hour a day about history. How much you will learn after 365 hours in 1 year. Think about if you study about the history of musicians, of composers, how much you would know. Imagine if you would work on a business, on some business that you want to develop every day for an hour. Imagine how further along you will go and get. So it drives me nuts because when people say we don't have the time, we have 24 hours a day. We sleep 6 hours a day, so that gives you still 18 hours. There's someone shaking their head out here in front. They say probably, I don't sleep 6 hours, I sleep 8 hours, right? Or just sleep faster. So we have 18 hours a day. The average person works around 8 to 10 hours. So let's assume it's 10 hours, so we have 8 hours left. Then you travel around an hour a day, maybe 2 hours a day. So now you have still 6 hours left. So what do you do with these 6 hours? What do you do with these 6 hours? Then we eat a little bit, then we schmooze a little bit, talk a little bit to people and all that stuff. But you can see how much time there is available if you organize your day. So you got to work hard. I hate plan B. And I tell you why. Because we have so many doubters, as I've said earlier, the no-sayers. We have so many of those people that say no, and you can't do it, it's impossible. That is okay, because we just turn off, as I said earlier, and we listen and we hear the no being a yes. You can't do it, you can do it, and all of that. So that is possible to do that amongst all the negative people around you. But when you start doubting yourself, that's very dangerous. Because now what you're basically saying is that if my plan doesn't work, I have a fallback plan. I have a plan B. And that means that you start thinking about plan B, and every thought that you put into plan B, you're taking away now that thought and that energy from plan A. And it's very important to understand that we function better if there is no safety net, because plan B becomes a safety net. It says that if I fail, then I fall and I get picked up and I have something else there that will protect me. And that's not good, because people perform better when there's no safety net. People perform better in sports and everything else if you don't have a plan B. I'm telling you, I've never ever had a plan B. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna go and be a bodybuilding champion. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna be in America. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna get in the show business and I'm going to be a leading man. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I will do the work over and over and over until I get it. And the same was in politics and everything like that. So to me, it is very dangerous to have a plan B, because you're cutting yourself off from the chance of really succeeding. And the reason, one of the main reasons why people want to have a plan B is because they are worried about failing. What is if I fail, then I don't have anything else? Well, let me tell you something. Don't be afraid of failing, because there's nothing wrong with failing. You have to fail in order to climb that ladder. There's no one that doesn't fail. Michael Jordan said in one of his interviews, when they said, "You're unbelievable, you're the greatest basketball player of all times." I mean, tell me about that. And he says, well, you're just mentioning the successes. But he says, for me to become the greatest basketball player, I missed 9,000 shots when I was playing basketball at the NBA games. So during these games that he was so successful, he missed 9,000 shots. Does it make him a failure? No. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all times, but he failed 9,000 times. Do you get it? We all fail. It's okay. What is not okay is that when you fail, you stay down. Whoever stays down is a loser. And winners will fail and get up. Fail and get up. Fail and get up. You always get up. That is a winner. That is a winner. I failed in bodybuilding. I lost bodybuilding competitions. I lost powerlifting competitions. I lost weightlifting competitions. I had movies that went in the toilet and that were terrible and got the worst reviews. And in politics, I remember I had many of the initiatives on the ballot, and we lost. My approval rating in California went down to 28%, and then it went back up again, and I won again the governorship. Hey, we all lose. We all have losses. This is okay, and this is why I say don't be worried about losing, because when you're afraid of losing, then you get frozen. You get stiff, you're not relaxed. You got to be, in order to perform well in anything, if it's in boxing or if it is on your job or with your thinking, is only happening when you relax. So relax. It's okay to fail. Let's just go all out and give it everything that you got. That's what it is all about. So don't be afraid to fail.
Thanks for letting to my daddy.